A theologian by the name of Donald Bloch put it this way. He said, proper self-concern is not excluded from the worship experience, but is always subordinated to the glory of God and to the wonder of his love. See, the problem is that self-concern can degenerate into self-centeredness. It's easy to become narcissistic in our worship. We calculate the value of worship, especially sometimes the value of the worship of others, as to what it means to us. What did I get out of it? That's the way we sometimes calculate the value of worship. And that's exactly what happened in the case of Mary's worship to Jesus. Judas objects to Mary's worship on the basis that he got nothing out of it. Now again, he's got this mask on as if he cares about the poor, but all he cares about is about lining his own pockets. Jesus was the only one who correctly evaluated the worth of Mary's worship. In fact, I would suggest he was the only one qualified to correctly evaluate the worth of her worship. Judas wasn't qualified to do it. Neither were the other disciples. And neither are we qualified to evaluate the worth of someone else's worship. Sometimes we think we can based on whether they're smiling or not smiling, whether they're emotive or not emotive. We think we can judge the value of their worship, but we can't. Jesus is the only one qualified to do that. And by the way, Judas and the disciples were not the only ones who missed the mark here. You know, we live in a day and age, in fact, for the past 30 years, when there's been so much conflict over worship styles. We're constantly making judgments about the value of contemporary worship as opposed to traditional worship. We evaluate its worth typically on the basis of personal gain. You know, if I got something out of it, it was good worship. If I didn't get much out of it, it was not so good worship. Now, that's dangerous worship because it's entirely self-centered. It leaves God and everyone else out of the equation.